Elisha said, Hearken to the word of the Lord. So as the Lord said, At this time tomorrow a seah of fine flour will sell for a shekel. 2 seahs of barley will sell for a shekel in the gates of Samaria. The king's officer, upon whose hand he would lean, answered the man of God and said, Behold, if the Lord makes windows in the sky, will this thing come about? And he said, Behold, you will see with your own eyes, but you shall not eat therefrom. Now there were 4 men stricken with wrath at the entrance of the gate. They said to each other, Why are we sitting here until we die? If we say that we will come into the city with the famine in the city, we will die there. And if we stay here, we will die. So now let us go, and let us defect to the Aramean camp. If they spare us, we will live. If they kill us, we will die. They arose in the evening to come to the Aramean camp, and they came to the edge of the Aramean camp, and behold, no one was there. Now the Lord had caused the Aramean camp to hear the sound of chariots, and the sound of horses, the sound of a great army. And they said to one another, Behold, the king of Israel has hired for us the kings of the Hittites and the kings of the Egyptians to attack us. They picked themselves up and fled at dusk, leaving behind their tents, their horses, and their donkeys, the camp as it was, and they fled for their lives. Now these Mizraim came up to the edge of the camp, entered one tent, ate and drank, and carried off from there silver, gold, and clothing, and they went and hid them. They returned and entered another tent, carried off from there, and they went and hid them. Now one said to another, We are not doing right. This day is a day of good news, yet we are keeping quiet. If we wait until daybreak, we will incur guilt. Now let us go and come and relate this in the king's palace. They came and called to the gatekeepers of the city and told them, saying, We came to the Aramean camp, and behold, there is no man there, nor the sound of a human, but the horses are tethered, and the donkeys are tethered, and the tents are as they were. And he called the gatekeepers, and they related it to the king's palace inside. The king arose at night and said to his servants, Now I will tell you what the Arameans have done to us. They know that we are hungry, so they left the camp to hide in the field, saying, When they come out of the city, we will seize them alive and enter the city. Now one of his servants called out and said, Let them take now 5 of the remaining horses that are left there. Behold, they are like all the multitude of Israel that are left there. Behold, they are like all the multitude of Israel that have perished. And let us send, and we will see. So they took 2 riders of horses, and the king sent them after the Aramean camp, saying, Go and see. And they followed them up to the Jordan. And behold, all the way was full of garments and vessels that the Arameans had cast off in their haste. And the messengers returned and related it to the king. The people went out and plundered the Aramean camp, and a seah of fine flour was sold for a shekel, and 2 seahs of barley were sold for a shekel, according to the word of the Lord. Now the king appointed the officer upon whose hand he leaned over the gate, and the people trampled him, and he died, as the man of God had spoken, which he spoke when the king had come down to him. And it was when the man of God had spoken to the king, saying, 2 seahs of barley will be sold for a shekel. A seah of fine flour will be sold at this time tomorrow in the gate of Samaria. That the officer answered the man of God and said, And behold, if God makes windows in the sky, will this thing come about? And he said, Behold, you will see it with your own eyes, yet you shall not eat therefrom. So it happened to him that the people trampled him in the gate, and he died.